Hello, hello. Let's get started. So this is Ice Code Image. It's personally my favorite stage in IS4, so I'm kind of excited. Um it is fairly challenging. That being said, it has a very open-ended way of approaching it, which is why it's my personal favorite. I'm going to show how I do it though. So we start off by putting down Inister immediately. Then we put down Myrtle. We pause deployed here, so Innis is going to get hit over Myrtle. Myrtle's going to get hit here. She will survive at E2 at base. We wait for the saxophone to blow their horn. Then we retreat Myrtle before she gets hit by the projectile. And now we pause deploy, we put down Reed, and we put down Degenbrecher like this. Reed needs to be module max level to survive at base. The boss does 2104 damage, physical damage. So yeah, module. Point minor pointing up like this if you have the shield to spare. This lets you get an extra hit, extra minor cycle worth of damage on the boss, which is always good. Degenbrecher goes here because you want Degenbrecher to clear the ice on the right side. She needs if you don't have enough attack stacking, then you have to use Texas to help stun the saxophone on the top. But here I had enough attack, so I didn't have to worry about that. So we're just going to wait for Minor to charge up. And it's just here generating DB for now. The read placement here is to keep Degenbrecher alive mainly, and also to break the ice. You can use a lot of things to break the ice. You can use Minor, you can use Logos, you can use Asia. Really anything with good AoE damage can do it, but Degenbrecher does it quite well because she's just intangible. And her cycle is good. So you can see that Minor's attack account is completely occupied by the boss and the ice. This is expected, and unless your Minor has really good damage, you're just going to leak those free. You can use other operators to prevent the leaks, like you can use Yaddle, or you can use Zola, or you can point Minor to the left instead of just pointing him up. But if your damage is not great, then it's better to point Minor up like this. That way he can get his damage off on the boss. So we're going to try to open up the ice here, although it doesn't matter much for how we're going to place. So those ice cleavers are probably the biggest threat on this map. Well, there's a lot of threats on this map, so I shouldn't say that. They need about 20% attack on Degenbrecher to one cycle, and you have to respect them quite a bit, because they will do a very sizable chunk to Degenbrecher. As such, a large part of the map is going to be using Degenbrecher's skill to kill the Yeti Cleavers, and using Reed to debuff the Yeti Cleavers and keep Degenbrecher alive during the downtime. So we're retreating Reed and Degenbrecher to prepare for our redeployment. At 20 enemies killed, there's no more enemies that will spawn until 50% of HP, until the boss hits 50% HP. So yeah, we're just letting Minor hit the boss and hit the enemies. Okay, Minor goes away. Yeah, so we're just waiting for Minor to redeploy now, so in 40 seconds. You can see that Minor has done a decent bit. He would only need one more Minor, he only needs one more skill activation to bring him down to 50% about. So we're putting down operators now. Note that we're at 7 deployment limit, so we're actually quite restricted here. Alright. So we put Degenbrecher 1 up from where we originally put her down. And by doing this, she can hit the boss as well, which is a decent bet, which is really nice for hitting the DPS check. If your miner has really good damage, you don't need to do this. You can just keep Degenbrecher where she was originally, and that's slightly safer. But in this case, our damage was not amazing, so we had to do this. So miner goes down, and we point Nightingale at him. Nightingale, you can use just about any medic at miner, although Ansel does not keep up at base, so you need a bit of relic help if you want to use Ansel. Aside from that, there's not much to it. So we're about to proc it, 50%. So the one rolls come up from the top. We use Minar to tank the ones on the left. We use Nightingale or a body to tank from the top. The right. If we didn't have those cages, we just use Gravel or Texas. It doesn't really matter much. Cardigan here is our last deployed operator, and we've pointed Warfarin at her. And Cardigan does two jobs here. The first is that she tanks the one rolls that will come from the right. And the second is that she tanks the boss. And it's quite important that she does these jobs. If you don't, you can of course just use bodies to redeploy constantly, and that works as well. But this is more reliable since that way you can focus more on the left side. So you want to note how I place Texas there. The timing is that the Yeti squadron will almost be past the tile that she's deployed on. And then you want to just click deploy her. And by doing that, you get 6 of them at once. Degenbrecher is on the right side, cycling skills with Reed and Degenbrecher to kill everything on the right. Remember that she needs about 20% attack to do this. So you want to, and if she's not able to, then you want to preserve your Texas or use another faster deploy or Innis to help keep Degenbrecher alive. Another thing to note is that we've pointed Warfarin right this time, but if you use Shu instead of Cardigan, then you don't need healing help for Shu. So you can instead point Warfarin up, which is another big help. Warfarin, of course, just being any decent medic. So we can see that we've done quite a bit of damage to the boss, and we're barely halfway through the map. That's pretty good. We might have been able to kill the boss without redeploying Degenbrecher, but it's best to be safe than sorry. You can see that we're just handling the Yeti squadron from the top with Texas, and then whenever miner is up, we just activate miner. Right side, those saxophones, Degenbrecher can live one of them at base, but she cannot live 2. So you do not want to let 2 saxophones stack up on her. The reason why we don't put anything below Degenbrecher is because then she will, the ranged operator put below Degenbrecher will get hit by the saxophone blast because Degenbrecher is intangible. So over there, we just missed it, but at 70 enemies, I specifically used Texas to kill 3 Yeti squadrons instead of our usual killing 6 at a time. This is because the Yeti Cleaver will spawn next, and you can see the Yeti Cleaver has spawned. So we're waiting, we're using Miner, and we're just stalling as much as possible. These Yeti Cleavers, if your operators aren't strong, then just leak them. It's not a big deal. So yeah, you can see that we're just trying to prevent Miner from getting frozen. Doing a bad job with it. Yeah, we use body to keep on blocking. We use gravel to stop the spiders from stacking up on Miner. Yep. The map is basically done. It's a fairly overwhelming map, but once you do it a few times, you'll figure it out pretty quickly. The main thing is that you have to focus on figuring out how to open up the right, and then how you're going to handle the one of those. The left side is usually pretty easy to handle, but the right side requires a lot of help because of all the stat checks with the saxophone and the ice goobers, whereas the left is just full of trash mobs. Alright, that's stage done.